Does life feel random, chaotic, a series of disconnected events? What if I told you that the worst thing that ever happened to you might actually be the best thing, and you just don't know it yet? We're diving deep into the Nova effect, a mind-bending concept that challenges everything you think you know about fate, free will, and the meaning of life itself. Stay tuned, because this will change how you see everything. Have you ever looked back at an event, a heartbreak, a missed opportunity, a failure, and thought, what if it had gone differently? Maybe you've even wondered if things were supposed to happen that way, as if life follows some invisible script. It's comforting, isn't it? The idea that all the chaos, all the pain, all the seemingly random twists and turns aren't random at all. But is it true? Does everything happen for a reason? Let me tell you a story. It's called the Nova effect, and it comes from a thought experiment about life's unexpected consequences. Imagine a man living in a quiet village with his beloved dog, Nova. One day, Nova runs away. The villagers console him, saying, "What terrible luck." But the man simply replies, "Who's to say if it's good or bad?" A week later, Nova returns, bringing with her a pack of wild dogs. The man trains the dogs and becomes wealthy selling them to hunters. The villagers say, "What great fortune." But again, the man replies, "Who's to say if it's good or bad?" Soon after, the man's son breaks his leg playing with one of the dogs. The villagers pity him, "What terrible luck." But the man, ever calm, replies, "Who's to say if it's good or bad?" Not long after, war breaks out. All the able-bodied young men are sent to fight, and many never return. But the man's son, because of his broken leg, is spared. This story captures the essence of the Nova effect. What seems like a blessing or a curse in the moment is often neither. Life's events ripple outward in ways we can't predict, creating consequences we never imagined. And this brings us to a profound question: does life have inherent meaning, or do we just assign it meaning after the fact? Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson. Think about your own life. How many times has something you thought was bad turned out to be a blessing in disguise, or vice versa? A breakup that led to personal growth? A failure that opened a better door? A chance encounter that changed everything? Were these events part of some grand design, or just random occurrences that you later wove into your personal narrative? Philosophers have wrestled with this for centuries. On one hand, there's determinism, the idea that everything is caused by something else, that your life is like a chain of dominoes. On the other hand, there's existentialism, which argues that life has no inherent meaning, and it's up to us to create our own. But here's the twist: what if both perspectives are true, in their own way? What if life is neither entirely random nor entirely predetermined, but something in between, a chaotic dance of cause and effect, shaped by both chance and choice? Let's consider how we make sense of our lives. When something happens, we instinctively try to fit it into a narrative. We say, "This was meant to be," or, "If that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be where I am." It feels natural to believe there's order behind the chaos. But is there? The Nova effect forces us to confront a difficult truth: life doesn't follow a neat, linear path. Every event, every decision, ripples outward, creating unpredictable consequences. What feels like a blessing today may lead to disaster tomorrow. What feels like a loss may set the stage for something extraordinary. The Nova effect isn't just about unpredictability, it's about the impossibility of knowing in the moment whether something is truly good or bad. This challenges two fundamental beliefs: the belief in fate and the belief in free will. Let's start with fate. Many of us like to think there's a grand design guiding our lives. It's comforting to believe that the pain, the mistakes, the missed opportunities are all part of a larger plan. But the Nova effect suggests otherwise. It shows us that life's outcomes are far too complex to be the result of a single, predetermined script. If Nova hadn't run away, the man wouldn't have gained wealth. If his son hadn't broken his leg, he might have died in the war. But none of these events were meant to happen. They were the result of countless intersecting causes and effects, most of which were entirely out of anyone's control. And yet, there's something deeply unsettling about rejecting fate altogether. If life is truly random, if everything is just a chaotic mess, then where does that leave us? Are we just spinning through the universe without purpose, without direction, without meaning? This is where the idea of free will becomes so important. But free will, too, is more complicated than it seems. You might think, I make my own choices, I'm in control. And to some extent, that's true. You decide what to pursue, what to let go of, what risks to take. But how much of your decision-making is influenced by factors outside your control, your upbringing, your circumstances, your biology, the random events that shaped your past? The Nova effect reminds us that even our choices are part of the chaotic dance. You didn't choose for Nova to run away, but you did choose how to respond. You didn't choose for your son to break his leg, but you did choose how to adapt. Let me ask you this, do you believe you have full control over your life, or do you feel like you're at the mercy of forces beyond your understanding? Share your perspective in the comments below. The truth, perhaps, lies somewhere in between. The Nova effect doesn't deny free will, but it challenges us to think differently about what free will actually means. It's not about controlling every aspect of your life, that's impossible. It's about how you respond to the chaos. It's about recognizing that while you can't control the ripples, you can decide how to navigate them. In a way, this is liberating. If life isn't a fixed script, then you're not bound by any single path. You're free to adapt, to grow, to find meaning in even the most unexpected circumstances. But this freedom comes with a responsibility, the responsibility to create your own narrative, to decide for yourself what everything means. Let us dive in deeper on the stories we tell ourselves. What is the difference between failure and growth? The answer is simple, perspective. The Nova effect teaches us that life is not inherently good or bad, it simply is. Events happen, and they ripple in ways we can't predict. But we are meaning-making creatures, and the stories we tell give meaning to our life. Here is the thing, the stories we tell are not always true. How often have you realized that a past situation was not what it seemed at the time? What you may have initially viewed as the end of the world, may have turned out to be the start of something great. The Nova effect reminds us that our initial interpretations are often incomplete. What we may see as good or bad, is but a chapter in a larger story. What stories are you telling yourself right now? Are they helping you, or are they holding you back? Let me know in the comments. Anne, the great philosopher of overcoming, believed we can rewrite our stories, and choose a new meaning to align with what we want to become. This power of perspective is not to deny the challenges in life, but about how you decide to respond and learn from them. This can be terrifying, to not seek a definitive answer, but it can also be freeing. You begin to realize that painful experiences can be lessons for growth. Here is a thought experiment, imagine you are looking back into your life, but from the future. What if you could see every joy, failure and heartbreak, and how it shaped you? Would that change how you view your struggles now? This is the essence of resilience, adapting and growing with every experience. The Nova effect tells us that we cannot control what happens, but we can control how we respond. We are now left with the question, what do we do with this? How do we find meaning in chaos? The answer is, embrace the unknown. When you stop trying to control every outcome, you realize life is a journey to be experienced. It is not about finding the meaning of life, it is about creating it yourself. Let's break it down into 3 steps. First, Embrace uncertainty. It is easier said than done, but it is essential. We don't know what the future holds. Every moment of uncertainty is a moment to grow. When you are faced with the unknown, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Secondly, rewrite your narrative. The stories we tell determine our reality. If you see yourself as a victim, you will feel powerless. Start reframing your past. How have your struggles made you stronger? Finally, focus on the process, not the outcome. Life is not about reaching a destination, it is about the journey. When you stop fixating on the outcomes, you can enjoy the present moment, and you begin to view moments as opportunities to learn and grow. Let me ask you this: if you knew that life had no ultimate destination, that the meaning of your existence is something you create moment by moment, how would you live differently? This is the ultimate gift of the Nova effect. It doesn't give us answers, it gives us freedom, freedom to let go of the need for certainty, freedom to stop labeling events as good or bad, freedom to create our own narrative, our own meaning, our own path. And here's the most profound part: when you embrace this freedom, you realize that everything really does happen for a reason, not because of fate or divine intervention, but because you choose to give it a reason. You choose to see meaning in the chaos. You choose to turn every setback into an opportunity, every failure into a lesson, every moment into a chance to grow. So, the next time life throws you something unexpected, remember the Nova effect. Remember that you can't always see the bigger picture, but that doesn't mean it's not there. Remember that every ripple, every twist, every turn is part of a story that's still unfolding. And remember that you have the power to shape that story, not by controlling what happens, but by choosing how you respond. Let me leave you with one final question: if you accepted that your life is a masterpiece in progress, with every brushstroke, every joy, every sorrow, every failure, contributing to the whole, how would you live differently today? That's the power of the Nova effect. It's not just an explanation for why things happen, it's an invitation to live with purpose, resilience, and the courage to embrace the unknown. What are your thoughts on the Nova effect? Share your perspectives and how you'll apply this to your life in the comments below. Let's discuss how we can all navigate the chaos with more intention and create our own meaning. And, of course, like this video and subscribe for more explorations into the nature of reality and the power of the human mind.